I now introduce the Honorable Cass Sunstein, who is the Administrator of the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs within the Office of Management and Budget. He's the official responsible for oversight of the President's regulatory agenda and agency compliance with Executive Order 13563. Mr. Sunstein, your written statement will be entered into the record, and you may proceed, and you've got all the time you want, to be quite honest with you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I just would like to make an inquiry.
Sure.
I thought that part of the agreement for him to be here today was that you will sing him happy birthday.
Is today his birthday?
Yes.
You want to lead that?
No. Maybe Mr. West.
Administrator, I tell you what, we'll wish you an official happy birthday and enter that into the record as well.
Thank you very much for that. I had almost forgotten myself that it was my birthday, and I'm grateful to be reminded that 29 years ago today, well, something happened, maybe not my birthday. It is birthday or no birthday, an honor to be here, and this is the perfect occasion for this. I've been looking forward to this discussion greatly because of the current economic situation and the opportunities that we have. In light of the executive order to which both of you referred, we've been able to make a lot of progress in a relatively short time to eliminate unjustified regulatory costs imposed on small businesses. In the future, we're hoping to do a great deal more, and we're expecting to be able to achieve that. Section 6 of the new executive order calls for the development of agency plans to reduce burdens in general, and one of our particular emphases has been on small business in the last months. Last May, agencies released over 24 preliminary plans, and this is the first time that a president has actually had the plans go out to the public, including to the business community, for their scrutiny and review. What the agencies did in releasing the plans was very publicly to ask small business, large business, individuals about existing burdens and to help identify ways to ratchet up the burden reduction effort. As noted by the ranking member, last month, over 24 agencies released their preliminary plans. They span over 805 pages. This could be a book, though we won't publish it in order to ensure compliance with the Paperwork Reduction Act. We are keeping them online. They include over 500 initiatives that will simplify the system and eliminate redundancy and inconsistency. What I'd like to emphasize is that as the plans demonstrate, a lot has already been achieved. These aren't just promissory notes. There are initiatives that have been finalized or publicly proposed from just a handful of agencies that are expected to save over $6 billion over the next 5 years. That's a down payment. It's not enough, but it's very far from trivial. A final rule from the Department of Health and Human Services reduces costs and improves access to care in rural areas by permitting hospitals to use telemedicine to obtain services from practitioners credentialed at distant hospitals. This is going to save money, including for small businesses that depend on or actually operate hospitals, and it's also going to help patients. The Department of Labor, in an initiative that was particularly welcomed by the business community, in fact, in my own communications with people in the business community, there was a degree of astonishment that this actually happened. The Department of Labor finalized, didn't propose, finalized a rule eliminating nearly 2 million annual burden hours imposed on employers. It's going to save hundreds of millions of dollars over the next 5 years. The EPA finalized, finally, the small business community had been urging this for a long time, finalized, finally, a rule excluding all milk and milk product containers from its oil spill rules. This is going to save $700 million over the next 5 years. The relevant reforms, as even a glance at the plan suggests, span a wide range. What we heard in our outreach to the small business community is that many are burdened by paperwork and reporting requirements that turn out, in theory, to be innocuous and helpful, but on the ground in practice, as the ranking member suggested, to be a hardship and sometimes incomprehensible. Many of our other initiatives are eliminating redundancy or regulatory burdens that just aren't justified anymore. The Department of Defense recently issued, this is finalizing, a new rule to accelerate payments on contracts to as many as 60,000 small businesses, improving their cash flow in an economically difficult time. To help small business borrowers who are struggling, many of them, the Small Business Administration is adopting a new electronic application to reduce the paperwork burden now imposed on certain lenders. That's going to help borrowers who seek small amounts of capital to grow and to succeed. I'd like to draw attention in particular to the plan of the Department of Transportation, which lists over 24 reforms specifically tailored to impositions on small business with an effort to relieve them of existing burdens. Every single one of the plans recognizes that this look-back enterprise isn't a one-shot endeavor. What I'm particularly excited about is that the plans encode the creation of teams or frameworks or working groups, ensuring that there's a listening process that is ongoing. If the plans don't have initiatives that should be included, then we're all ears. We want to see what would be a good way of reducing burdens now, and the agencies are available to hear the concerns. I'd like to be CC'd on any suggestions for additions. Many people have expressed concern with the flow of new rules, not just the existing stock of rules. And I can give you some details about things we've done in the recent past to get a good control on the stock. There was a reference, both the chairman and the ranking member made, to the President's January 18th memo on small business, which not only reflects the Regulatory Flexibility Act, in important ways it goes beyond it and imposes requirements that are supplemental, that are already helping to reduce the flow of new rules. What the President said in January of this year is we can make our economy stronger and more competitive while meeting our fundamental responsibilities to one another. We're going to continue to eliminate unjustified regulatory costs. This process has just started, and thus strengthen our economy in an economically challenging time. Thank you so much, and I'm much looking forward to your questions.